friends. As promised, I want to show you what I'm cooking right now for my terrain generation. As I told you, I'm a bit obsessed by the idea to drive wherever I want from real world places. So I decided to build a terrain creator which can import geotiff data to make roads and terrain easily. I'm sitting in front of my development IDE here and just started. And we make a small walkthrough. I don't go too much into depth. I just want to show you what it is so that we have a discussion later on if I'm on the right track. So just start in debug mode, why not? And I go to the generate terrain button. So what I have to choose first is a BeamNG level where I want to generate the terrain, and it's more or less basically the same like you have it in game, but I can do some other stuff here. You will see. So choose the folder, and then we get a quite excessive UI with a lot of fields. I mimicked BeamNG a bit with import and exporting terrain presets, but I improved it a bit. I just load one of the old presets which work in BeamNG as well, because I started trying to do stuff with GIS satellite data the old way, building these PNG files for the layers to import it to BeamNG. And I just open one of these presets. I have a lot of UI messages here because of the debugging stuff. I will reduce it, of course. And the importing is not completely ready now. Just loaded a lot of stuff, all the terrains and terrain materials from the presets, but I have to tell him now which image source we use. You see, we have multiple possibilities here. The old way with PNG height maps, it works still. You can mix it later for the materials. You will see it. Then you can import a single geotiff file. Sometimes if you go to a special GIS page of your country or state or whatever, sometimes they only allow you to download small tiles and a lot of them for a special region. So you can use geotiff tiles as well, which I did here for the example, just to test the feature. If it's on geotiff tiles, you have to browse for a folder where you have a lot of geotiff tiles inside. So I take it. And it reads out all this coordinate stuff and the projection and makes conversions so that it's fitting for the BeamNG world. You see, we have all this geographic data here. And it could be that you have a very big region in the geotiff, which is bigger than the terrain size you really want to fit in. Then you have a selector here, which part of the geotiff you want to bring to your map. So it read out already the height, the max height of the terrain I've chosen, and the base height, so where the terrain starts. Yes, because the deepest point here is the Mosel in Germany, and it's lying on 72 meters. So it's read out and works quite well. It's a bit like the same like the MapNG tool from Nikki. He does the same. What did I want to say? Yes, okay, we have meters per pixel. Okay, the typical stuff. You could change it here, and it would change the selection as well. You could say, oh no, I want to have only 0.5 meters per pixel. You see, it's getting much smaller. It refetches data again, and you could choose another part of the terrain. But I really want the 1 meter thing, so we leave it like that. And yes, I hope I didn't destroy anything with this small demo here now. This is this part. Of course, you can say I want only 2000 by 2000 meters. You see, I've put in the typical stuff here. I don't tell you anything now about the parameters. I leave it as is because I do some stuff with harmonization of roads and the junctions and stuff like that, but doesn't matter. So this is the typical stuff you know from BeamNG. You have all this, your materials, which have already been in the level I've chosen. It reads it out. But you see all this layer map labels here. This means we have, for example, for the grass or the old field or the forest, I have still in this PNG files, you know, same like you do in BeamNG. But for example, I don't want to use my PNG file, which I built somehow in QGIS. It was very quirky. We can have it now way easier. You can click on OSM shapes and say you want OSM as OpenStreetMap. Yes, it fetches the data from OpenStreetMap. I go to select OSM shapes, and here you have all this different stuff: roads, land use, natural, building, and all the stuff you can get from OSM to build somehow a layer for BeamNG. We said we are on land use now. Sometimes this filter is not working here. So, and we want to have forest because I've chosen the forest material first. And so we can take the forest that you see within this box is our map. And this is the forest data from OSM. And there we want to have forest in the BeamNG map. There's sometimes other things which are like forest because the tagging is not very unique and very precise all the time in OSM. So you see a small part at the lower right edge, it's wood. I take it too. So, okay, we have selected 15 features and we will now use these features as a layer for BeamNG material. And you can do it with a lot of stuff, with rocks, there are so many things, even buildings, I will show you later, but the most important thing are the roads. So therefore we go a bit deeper here and I've selected 3 materials in my demo for the roads. I have the dirt roads. Here's the dirt material. So if you would take it, I pre-selected it already, but we can do it together here. I'll just show you. Would go to OSM shapes and the dirt roads are normally the tracks and the paths. The paths are a bit hard because it can be footpaths which aren't drivable. You see, if I unclick it, you see these are the paths. But for fun, I leave it in now. So yes, and the same with the asphalt tracks, so the tarmac tracks we want to have. Here you see these are my primary roads, and I used primary. It's the trunk. No, it's not the trunk. It's a primary road. We have no trunks here at the Mosel, but you can select whatever you want into this material. Yes, and then I have this thing here. It's I think the tertiary roads or something like that. Let's take a look. What I've selected here. Yes, now it's residential and living streets and tertiary and unclassified. I put everything in there just to check if my tool can handle such many things. So what's quite cool in my tool, because you must know a little bit about how does it work in BeamNG if you have all these material layers. What I had to learn is, the first material is always there if it's kind of backup material. Yes, I've written it here. So the first one is always a fallback material. Where no material is defined, you will have this grassy thing. Yes, and the last material here always wins. So we have a lot of layer maps, and the last one wins. I saw that this one here was have been my most important roads. This asphalt, ETK asphalt roads here. So you can easily change position here. So I want the asphalt back. For example, if you don't want to have this grass here as default grass, you could easily go and say, I want another grass, perhaps, well, I don't know, grass 2. This is the old grass from, I think, from East Coast, and you can say, move it to top, because then it's on top and it's the grass for the fallback. So, okay. Now the really hard stuff. I show it one example here. Here we have enabled road smoothing. It's a road, and I have written a lot of algorithm stuff for making a bit the same thing like the Spline tool does in BeamNG, but it does it already while generating the terrain. So it's leveling the roads. But if you download satellite data, it's very often uh, you can't really drive on that roads. Yes, even in hairpin curves and stuff like that, it's not that nice. So I have a lot of effort done for this thing. Yes, you can, for example, say I have some presets already so that uh, you don't have to care too much about it because you have a lot of parameters like the road width, which it's more or less like the road plus the side you need to be flattened somehow. You have to be flattened like it's a road plus the margin, and then I have a road surface width. This is the place where we want to have later on our material painted. Or, for example, if you want to use splines later on in BeamNG, I tell something about it. I made a mod for it. It's where the spline really is painted. Yes. Now it's here, it's 8, and it's the same. I leave it now, but you could say you have 8 meters of road bed, let's say like this, but the road is only 6 meters. So where the material is painted, then you would put it in the second field here. Then, of course, you have the typical blend range in meters, so how the road blends into the terrain on the sides. It's a bit like in BeamNG as well. And you could enforce max road slope. For example, if you have streets which shouldn't have more than 4% of angle or stuff like that, you could enforce it. But I don't do it because I want the real life terrain here. Yes, but you could make funny things about that. Okay, say with max side slope and stuff like that. And this is really the cool feature because I made it possible to import the splines I generate here because I have them from OSM data and they are very exact. And I can use these splines later in the Masterspline tool in BeamNG to do something, make the decal roads and stuff like that. So, okay. And in order to show you how this works, wait a moment. We say, okay, we make some funny things here for the dirt. I say I want them the distance between the nodes very tight. And on asphalt, just to test it, I make it 10. Here, leave it 15 just to show you how it works. So, okay. And then you have a lot of nerd settings. If you're really digging into it, you want to change smoothing algorithms, change angle stuff, whatever, you can do it here. You see smoothing approaches, blend functions, enable, disable terrain blending, cross sections. So how far does the algorithm look at the longitude of the road when he does smoothing and elevation smoothing and stuff like that? Then you have spline parameters, which here are not affected. You have to use them if you have PNG files because the spline recognition is a bit more complicated. you know how bad the spline recognition is in BeamNG. If you import a PNG to the spline tool, mine is way better. But we don't need it here because we have the perfect splines from OSM, and you have elevation smoothing, stuff like that. You can do post-processing. If you are not happy with the smoothness of the road, you could do here some more smoothing with Gaussian or whatever. I have tooltips for every parameter so that you understand what you're doing or don't understand. It's really not that easy. And I have some logic to recognize junctions between roads so that you have a smooth transition between the road splines, because it could be that you get really dense there at this point. It's not working perfectly now. I have to work a bit on this, but I'm on a good track. And you have a lot of debug stuff where you can put export debug images to understand what the tool does with explanations and a lot of other stuff. Okay. But of course, you want to see it in action now. So what I've used is a piece of the Mosel I told you. So I just go to the folder so that you can believe it's working. It's now my generated terrain level here. I just go there and delete the terrain file. No, it's the wrong one, terrain 4. It's so small. Or did I delete it already? Oh, wait. Oh God. What am I doing here? I don't know. The terrain it must be the terrain here. This is an old one here. The terrain. I delete the terrain. Can check it. Yes, it's the terrain, and then the magic happens. I just press generate terrain, and it takes a bit of time. At 4K maps, it's not too long, and I've really unlocked too many things here, but we have to wait a bit, and it does things. It really now makes a height map out of the geotiff, then takes the roads and calculates the elevation smoothing onto the road top, so that the road is perfectly leveled, even in hairpins and stuff like that. And it has to do it for three, you've seen it, three material layers with three different road types and widths and stuff like that. So because we have the asphalt roads are more smoothened, for example, than the dirt roads. There I didn't use this monster parameter algorithm, Butterworth road smoothing. I really did some studies in the internet to get all this stuff together. And you see it does things. And even it tries to calculate spawn points. So not on this map because I have spawn point already, but if you create a new map, you see this create new level menu here. It's not completely done, but almost. If you start with a completely new level, it calculates a spawn point on a road somewhere on the longest road, so that you immediately can test what you did with the tool. So no more messages. You see the button is freed. Let's go to BeamNG. Could have loaded it before, but doesn't matter, I think. What I hope, of course, is that it's working now, because we are doing a live demo. And I'm still, of course, in development. So, okay, here's my generated terrain. There's still other names because I just copied my work in progress map, deleted everything out so that I have materials and stuff like that. We go into the map. And you see, we have a really big 4K map. And here you see, this is wonderful because I have the twin towers here. This is a funny thing about the elevation smoothing algorithm. If you have part of a road which is at the completely zero level of the map, and there is no elevation change, it can be that the algorithm makes hallucinations and takes the highest point of the map. So I have to figure it out, but this, is so easy to fix. So I do it because otherwise all the guys say, "Hey, what's that? What's with this tower?" So I just take the height here. Why isn't it working? I just want to pick the height and make this towers go away. Okay, so save the map. And here you see a lot of road networks. And I should have shown you before after, but if you take a look at this at these curves here, you see they are batteries smooth, like a baby butt. Yeah, every curve. So you see, because this is one of my asphalt roads, and we have the two different types: the main asphalt roads and then the secondary asphalt roads somewhere. For example, here. Oh God, this map is really huge. Here, this secondary asphalt road, stuff like that. So, and now I show you how fast you can bring life into this map now. First of all, of course, what we want to have is trees. I've made some presets for the BeamNG tool. So always, I click always wrong. Always, where's the BeamNG tool? Here's the BeamNG tool. So we say the forest, the typical Douglas thing. We go to our forest layer, which we imported from OSM, remember? And I say generate layer. Done. Then I have a terrain forest ground layer. I do it same thing. That's looking more realistical. Generate layer. Not so much. Oh, yes, now it's coming. And then, for example, perhaps come up with some oaks. Take the oak layer. Forest. Generate layer. Problem is that sometimes, of course, you have trees on the road. You can do something a bit against it if you take this border brush and make it a minus value, because it tries then not go to the edge of the layer completely, but it doesn't matter now for the demonstration. So where am I? Now I want to show you the cool thing with the splines we did. Yes. So this now I show you is not in the normal BeamNG version. It's a mod made by me. I already made a thread for it, and you will find it in the description. So what I did, we go to the level. We have MT is for mapping tools, terrain generation. We have a folder, a dedicated folder, and we have a folder for every material we made roads for. So we start with this Etika asphalt thing, and you have this Mastersplines JSON here. You open it, and you see we have all the Mastersplines in. You see some quirky points will always happen because they are OSM splines. You have to cut them and delete something and add something. And the points between the nodes, this was this distance parameter used. You can make it from 5 meters to whatever you want. But 5 meters, I think, is perhaps way too narrow. We have 10 or 15 meters here, and it's quite okay. So you see, I can click it, and we just make this default stuff. And you see, if we go onto this road, it's really buttery smooth. I just can drive with a keyboard now because I'm not sitting in my rig. You see, it's so smooth. It works perfectly well. I really love it. So I'm really coming much closer to my dream, driving very fast in every region you want. And I have so many good ideas what to do next. For example, if we take a look here, I just use beach sand for importing the places where buildings are from OSM. It's just for testing. But of course, you see, if I can make this spline thing, I of course can generate buildings to every point. I can translate all the coordinates to BeamNG coordinates, and I have very good ideas. And this terrain building stuff I want to do desperately. One in one. If I have this done and can deploy this tool, if it's bug free, you get it, of course. Then we do something with the terrain generation. Oh no! I really love it. So, is there more which I should show you? I don't know. I think it's a good start. I don't want to make a too long video. You got the idea, what I'm doing, and I really love this import-export functionality of this Masterspline tool. I hope really, I asked Dave if he can, the Dave is the dev who developed the Masterspline tool. If you can take a look at my code, perhaps it's good enough that they can incorporate it. It would be so nice. You see, even if I change, because this is another road type. This was another material type. So I just go here, go to the levels folder, terrain. Like, where am I? It's right. It was what? No, I'm wrong. I've pressed the button, the old stupid button. I've load this one here. Levels, and we take the other material. It is this other asphalt road. Just open it up, and got the roads are there. You can see, and because we have this road width stuff done already, it normally fits perfectly to the road. So can make it perhaps a bit narrower in the settings of the terrain generator, and bam. The good thing is you can make changes, save it here, and you have all the splines in the next session on the next day and can continue working. So this road I really loved most because first time I didn't import it, and now I've imported it, and it's so good. Really, this is, by design, by road design, so good. What I'm missing now still is making road banking in the curves, because I can't generalize it. Can't generalize it because you don't want to have banking inside towns or villages. So, but there I have ideas as well what we can do. So it's not everywhere perfect. You see here the road is not perfectly fit, but yes, you can always tweak it with parameters. But isn't it a nice valley? It's perfect. So that's it, my friends. I wanted to show it to you because there was a discussion ongoing if I should really deploy it to the wild, because everyone could make maps then, and some people perhaps are hidden by their proud or pride, because map making should be something for the talented, gifted, and knowledgeable people, but I see it a bit different. So it's so nice to have, like in Flight Simulator, the possibility to play everywhere. Or think about uh, driving schools. They can build maps for their region, and the people can train on BeamNG. So I really love this idea. So enough talk. That's it. Bye bye.